guys, it's Nicole. I'm back with another video, and today's video is going to be about a book that I read very recently. I think I mentioned it in one of my previous videos on the Judging Books by Their Cover series. It's a really good one, and I wanted to talk about it today. Before we get started, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has supported my channel in any way. If you have subscribed, thank you so much. It really does mean so much to me, and it really does cost nothing. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. But even if you're just here to check out my video once or twice, or even if you just watch my videos without subscribing, I do appreciate you interacting with my channel because I love getting to see other people enjoying the kinds of content that I make. So thank you to everyone who interacts with my channel in any way. On that note, if you do enjoy this video, please like, comment, subscribe if you haven't, and share this video with anyone that you think might enjoy it. I really want to reach people that would also like to hear what I have to say about books, or just sit down and kind of turn their brains off and just listen to my voice droning on and on. So let's go ahead and move on to the book that we're talking about today. The book we're talking about is actually a sequel. It's kind of not really a sequel. It's book 2 in a series that doesn't have to be read in a specific order, I guess you could say. Like, book 1 doesn't have much of a say in what happens in book 2. They just happen in the same universe. So book 1 of the series that I'm going to be talking about today, I will put a picture right here, is called The Spellshop by Sarah Beth Durst. But the book we'll be talking about today is technically book 2, The Enchanted Greenhouse. And I just love this book so much. I don't have any other words. I just love it so much. I didn't know that there was a second book in the universe of her books that was coming out. And so when I went to this bookstore with one of my friends, and I saw it on a display, and I was like, you have to be kidding me. The Spellshop was already one of my favorite books, so I was so excited that she wrote another one in the same universe. So I was so excited to read this book, and it held up and even surpassed my expectations. It's so good. If you haven't watched my video on the first book, The Spellshop, I'll go ahead and link it. It's on my channel. But this one falls in the same kind of category. It's fantasy, feel good, if that makes sense. There's a little bit of romance, a little bit of finding yourself, and this book is really about second chances. But all in all, you could categorize this book as fantasy feel good. And I think we need a lot of feel good kinds of books these days. So I think that this is such a good book to read. I just can't stop saying enough good things about it. It was so good. I love Sarah Beth Durst. She writes amazing books. I love it so much. And look at the cover. Like, if you already saw the Spellshop's cover, like, obviously there's a lot of similarities and like similar colors and techniques in how the drawings look. And you can see the greenhouse here, and there's a river. And yes, if you don't know anything about this series, there are, because it's fantasy, there are flying cats. They have wings like birds, and they're cats. So this book does have a little bit of a flying cat star. They don't talk, they're just animals in the universe, but they do have quite the personality, so it is very fun to have this little guy in the book. And obviously the cover is just so gorgeous. I am obsessed with the colors, and just, I love that we're looking at the greenhouse like it's this mysterious like thing, especially because the title, The Enchanted Greenhouse, it's like, what's enchanted about it? Like, what does it do? So it was obviously, even if I hadn't read the first book, I would have picked this up and been like, yeah, I'm reading that immediately. But I'm going to go ahead and read the inside flap because, you know, with hardcovers. And like I said at the top of this video, you do not have to read The Spellshop first. It was the first book released in this universe, but you do not need to read it first. You could read this book first. And it even says at the top here, a new standalone cozy fantasy set in the world of New York Times bestseller, The Spellshop. Elsewhere in the empire, on a remote island brimming with singing flowers, honey cakes, and honeyed love, Turlu Purna broke the law because she was lonely. She cast a spell and created a magically sentient spider plant. As punishment, she was turned into a wooden statue and tucked away in an alcove in the North Reading Room of the Great Library of Elysium. This should have been the end of her story. Yet one day, Turlu wakes in the cold of winter on a nearly deserted island full of hundreds of magical greenhouses. She's starving and freezing, and the only other human on the island is a grumpy gardener. To her surprise, he offers Turlu a place to sleep, clean clothes, and freshly baked honey cakes, at least until she's ready to sail home. But Turlu doesn't want to return home, and as she grows closer with the unwittingly charming gardener Yarrow, she learns the magic that sustains the greenhouses is failing, causing the death of everything within them. Turlu knows she must help, even if that means breaking the law again. This time, though, she isn't alone. Assisted by Yarrow and a sentient rose, Turlu must unravel the secrets of a long-dead sorcerer if she wants to save the island and have a fresh chance at happiness and love. Funny, kind, and forgiving, The Enchanted Greenhouse is a story about giving second chances to others and to yourself. I love the amount of detail it gives in that blurb. It gives you literally a very good overview of what this book is about. And is exactly what it's about. It is second chances. It is saving the greenhouses because for some reason the magic is failing. And that's where the journey takes you on this book. And it's so good. What I love so much about this book is the plot is very intriguing. You're like, why is the magic failing? How is she going to save it? She doesn't want to break the law again. She doesn't want to have to be turned into a statue again. That was so horrible. But how is she going to save the greenhouses? And there's living plants. There's things in the greenhouses that, like the sentient rose, like they're alive and they're plants and they're going to die if she doesn't do something. Plus, there's the grumpy gardener Yarrow, who takes care of the greenhouses. And of course, he's devastated that these greenhouses are failing, and he doesn't really know how to express his feelings other than grunts. And it's very cute. It just goes in a very clear direction. And the best part about it is it's not stressful. There's no... Because I hate, like... There's so many tropes in fiction and fantasy and just writing in general that I tend to get tired of, especially the more I read. I read a lot, okay? On my Goodreads goal for this year, I have a goal of 36 books to read this year, and I'm almost there. So I read a lot of books, and I do get tired of certain tropes all the time. I get tired of the misunderstanding trope. I just get tired of the tropes that, to me, seem to only be used in the book or the writing just to prolong stuff and to keep writers' attention. Like, it's so gratuitous. It's unnecessary tropes for me that annoy me so much, and it's why sometimes I'll start reading books and then just stop because it's starting to frustrate me. And I have enough frustrating things in my life that I don't need extra frustration from my entertainment. This book has none of that. It takes you on a beautiful journey of the goal is to figure out why the greenhouses are failing and how are we going to save the plants. And through that journey, Turlu, the sweet Turlu who was lonely and used magic to create a friend, finds what she wants to do with her life. And Yarrow also finds what he wants to do with his life because he is a gardener, but maybe there's other things in life that he wants as well. He cares about plants and he loves to garden, but there's other things he wants in life as well that he never would have gotten if they didn't go on this journey to figure out what was happening to the greenhouses. So it is such a feel-good, cozy is a perfect word, relaxing read. It really is. I did not have the time to sit around and go, I'm just going to read this in one sitting, because I just don't have that kind of time, but I wanted to. It was so hard to pull myself away from this book. I would be reading chapter after chapter, and I'd just be like, one more, just one more. I have to read one more. And it was so good, but at the same time, I was not stressed. Like, the entire time I knew Turlu was going to figure out what was happening. She was going to be okay, breaking the law, whatever. She was going to be okay. And things were going to work out with Yarrow. I didn't know for sure if there was going to be a romance. It's not really a spoiler, because it's like, you can kind of guess it from the blurb. So there wasn't any, like, stress. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't necessarily know exactly where it was going, but I knew that it wasn't going to be devastating, because it's a cozy fantasy, not something designed to keep your attention with annoying tropes that, I'm sorry, I just get so annoyed by those because they're so used so much. And I'm not trying to diss any authors that use those tropes. I'm just saying it's so refreshing to have a piece of writing that does not stress you out. And I don't know if I'm the only one that feels that way. I would love to hear anyone else's thoughts. If you are like me and get stressed out by the lives of fictional characters, please let me know so I don't feel so alone in that. And it really does affect me. And so I will stop reading things if I get too stressed. I did not have that problem with this book at all. It was such a good read. I could have read it in one sitting if I had had the time. I am going to go ahead and read the first page of the first chapter, just to give anyone like an idea of what the book may sound like. Especially if you haven't read the Spellshop, that one is a really good read too. And like I said, you do not have to read it first before you read this one. But like the Spellshop, it's set up the same way. There's always a little bit of a something, like a drawing or something at the top of each chapter. And this book happens to be plants, because it's all about greenhouses and plants. Chapter 1. The plant was innocent. Everyone agreed on that. Still, when the judge declared it in his reedy voice for the official record, Turlu nearly cried with relief. After she'd been arrested, her primary worry was that they'd blamed the plant. He wasn't to blame. It was all her. She'd tried to make that clear. She shifted in her chair to watch while the court bailiffs escorted the spider plant away. He raised a tendril toward her, and Turlu lifted her fingers to her lips and then toward the newly sentient plant. I won't cry. She refused to cry when she hadn't done anything wrong. Very illegal, yes, but not wrong. So far, she hadn't shed a single tear, at least not in public. But right now, all that prevented her from sobbing out loud was the scowl on the prosecutor's face as he glared at her, as well as the head librarian's hand on her arm, which was the only touch of kindness in the courtroom, both literally and figuratively. Leaning closer, the head librarian, I'm not sure how to pronounce this name. Fantasy names are not always easy to pronounce. Regis Velk whispered to her, I will see that he is safe and cared for. He'll always have a home with us. Turlu swallowed hard, not going to cry. So it does start in a very dismal place, but it did kind of mention that in the blurb. Turlu broke the law, she cast a spell, and she was turned into a wooden statue. So we get the context of that as the first chapter of the book. So thankfully, we start in a really horrible place and then end up somewhere so much better. So it's really good. I think I could not pinpoint a specific aspect of this book that I just loved over everything else, because there was just so much that was done so well. Like I said, the way it's written, the way the plot goes, to me is just, it's so much more simplistic than the way I feel a lot of modern authors tend to write. And I really appreciated that. I think that there's a time and a place for more complex plots with so many little subplots that are intended to stress you out and intended to keep your attention and intended to just be intense and just overwhelming. And I feel like, you know, especially because I've been reading a lot of books from other time periods, I feel like there's also still a place for writing that has more of a simplistic plot and structure. So instead of going in a bunch of different directions and everything's coming to a head and the tension is building so high that you're gonna break and you can't, you know what I mean? It's just, this is the problem. How are we gonna solve the problem? The tension is there, but to me, it's not over amplified like I find a lot of modern writing to be. So that is definitely one of my favorite aspects of the book, but I have so many others. Like, the character development is so good. I love all of the characters that she's written so far, especially in this book. I love the last one as well, but this one is so good, especially because we get to learn so much about Yarrow, even though the book is not written from his perspective. Turlu is the narrator, but we still get to learn a lot about his life and his character growth, because I'm not going to give any spoilers right now, but basically, because they're the only two people on the island, they spend a lot of time together, and we learn a lot more about Yarrow, and I love that we get to learn so much more about him too. And it's so great because, to me, it felt like the point of the second chances in this book, because like it mentioned in the blurb, this book is all about second chances. The point of the second chances is not to say you messed up so bad the first time, or you were not that good and now like this is who you should be. You're so much better. You know what I mean? It's just, you were good and perfect as you are. And now you can try again. Just because you failed the first time, or just because things didn't go well the first time, doesn't mean you don't deserve a second chance, you know? And you don't even necessarily have to completely change who you are in order to deserve that second chance. I mean, I think automatically when you go into a second chance situation and you put yourself into a new environment and open yourself up to possibilities, you change naturally, even if you're not trying to. But the message is you don't have to. You are beautiful and perfect as you are, and that's what matters. And you're going to be loved for that no matter what. And so I love that that's how the character development goes through this book. It's so beautiful. I also love the fantasy aspect. All of the different plants and flowers and vegetables that grow in these greenhouses is so cool. Especially because there's also little animals involved. Because what is a garden without pollinators? So in a fantasy world, what kind of pollinators do you think there might be? Because obviously there's butterflies and bees, but in the fantasy world, what other kinds of creatures could be pollinators? And it's very cool. It's so much fun getting to learn about and explore new kinds of fantastical creatures in the greenhouses. And another reason it's so important to save the greenhouses. It's obviously important anyways. That's pretty much it, all I had to say about this. I don't really feel like I want to go into spoilers because I just really want people to go out and read this book. I really want people to read these books, The Spellshop and The Enchanted Greenhouse. It is, to me, it's what the world really needs right now. Acceptance, second chances, and a stress-free way of reading that. And I think that this is such a good book for that. So I really want people to read it. So I'm not going to go into spoilers in this video, but I hope I did it justice because I love this book so much. It's so hard to say if it's my favorite book that I've read this year so far because I have read so many amazing books this year. But it is up there. I'm going to say it's in the top 5 for sure. Let me know in the comments if you guys have any thoughts on this, but I'm thinking about doing a rank at the end of the year of my favorite books of the year to my least favorite books. Not because I hated any books. I don't think no, that's not true. I think there was one book I started this year that I hated and had to stop. And I can put that in the video too and why I hated it. But I think that might be fun because I think I've read like 30 books this year so far, and we're only in October, so I still have a few months left to read some more, and I think that'll be fun. A little way to end the year, just ranking all the books that I've read this year. So let me know in the comments if you guys have any thoughts on that, but that is it for this week's video. I wanted to say just, I love doing this. This brings me so much joy. I don't know if I'll ever make money from this channel, but this is just something I hope to continue doing, and I hope to continue finding people who will enjoy what I talk about as well, and hopefully either read the books that I talk about or feel some sort of inspiration to talk passionately about something that they love, or even just get into something passionately. So thank you so much to everyone who has supported me. I know I said it before, but it really does mean so much. I know that I kind of feel like I'm talking into the void when I make these videos, but seeing my subscriber numbers go up and the views and the likes, it makes me feel like you guys are actually watching and enjoying. So thank you all so much, and I will see you all in the next video.